Welcome everyone. Welcome to a new video. In this, we are still going to discuss and complete our JavaScript on Geek for Geek courses. Let's see where we have been. Let's move it aside, make it smaller, and then open our Firefox. Keeping it on this side, navigating to geekforgeek.com or .org, navigating to JavaScript in our web development section, and from there we're gonna move to JavaScript. I think we have done until set. Time for atomics. The page has loaded. And before continuing or beginning, let me start my note-taking application, VS Code, the most professional note-taking application your time can buy, because essentially it's free. Asterisk Microsoft, but still it's an open source application. I also tried the open source VS Code called simply the code, the vanilla code without any VS or Visual Studio, and it was good but not nice or as polished as this Visual Studio. But that's not the topic of our today, and where we are going to learn atomics in JavaScript. Looks like an entirely new topic to me, because I haven't heard or even remotely heard about such thing as atomics. Atomics is a JavaScript object which gives atomic task to proceed as static strategy. Much the same as the strategies for math object, the techniques and the properties of atomics are additionally static. Atomics are utilized with shared array buffer objects. The atomic activities are introduced on atomic modules. In contrast to other worldwide articles, atomics isn't a constructor. Atomics can't be utilized with another administrator or can be summoned as a capacity. But what the hell is atomic? Atomic operations are not continuous. Multiple threads can read and write data in memory when memory is shared. There is a loss of data if any data has changed. Atomic operations ensure that the data is written and accurately read by the predicted values. There is no way to change existing information until the current operation is completed and atomic operation will start. What we have, some method dot add method adds the value provided to the current value array index is specified, and it returns the old index value. Atomic, and the value of AND is computed bitwise on the index of the array specified with the value provider. Whatever I read until this point, everything's got over my mind, because I still didn't get what is the use of atomic and what is its practicality. Okay. Atomic.exchange specifies a value at the array index specified. The old value is returned. Next, atomics.compare exchange specifies the value in a specific array index. If the value is same, old value is returned. Atomics is lock free size, in parenthesis size, primitive optimization to determine whether locks or atomic operations are to be used. Returns true if hardware atomic operation is carried out in array of the given element size as opposed to a lock. Next is atomics.load. The value returns to array index specified. Atomics.or bitwise OR computes the value with the given value at a specified array index. Returns the old index value. Atomics.notify. Notify agent waiting for a specified array index. Returns the notify number of agents. Atomics.sub deletes a value at the array index specified. returns the old index value. Atomics.store save a value on array index specific. Okay, and array atomics.wait verifies that the specified array index still has a value and waiting or waiting times are sleeping. Returns okay, not the same, or timeout. If the calling agent is unable to wait, it throws an exception to an error. And atomic XOR computer bitwise XOR with the given value on given array index returns the old index value. Now let's at least try to understand these mind-boggling stuff with some examples. First is now we have a variable buffer. We have just initiated the variable, okay, shared buffer with 50 as its parameter. So variable a is equal to new u int 8 array buffer, initializing element as 0th position of the array with ninth. Okay, I'm still not getting anything, and here we have output as 993. At least let try at least one time by running this code in our VS Code, copying all the above thing, deleting it, and then pasting. And after that, what I'm gonna do is try node running this, and we are getting answer as 933. This first thing outputs 9, then this thing outputs 3, and this thing outputs 3. Okay, but I haven't got anything clear, and I'm very sure because as per my view meter no one watches this kind of video, so and none of you will answer me actually what this atomic is trying to say. So again I have to take help with ChatGPT. Let's try to run this and let's see, and it doesn't output anything. Okay, the output is already written in the comments, so let's go over everything one by one. So we have a buffer which is called new shared buffer 2048. Okay, const ta, I don't know what is ta. I think ta is a variable name. I don't know whether it is a special name. Module ta u int 8 array, which is a buffer. So the at the 0 index of ta we got 0. Then we are assigning at 0 index the 5. And if I add ta 0 and 12, it is outputting 5. Okay. And if I load ta with 0, it outputs 17. If and this time we are using add, not and. And let's try to understand all this code, all this jumble of words using ChatGPT. I will make sure the font size is optimum so you guys can stream or view it on your screen as clearly as I am. I think I should increase the font size. Now everything looks good as comparable to this. Let's begin with. The code snippet demonstrates the use of shared array buffer and atomics API in JavaScript. Let's break down what's happening step by step. First is initialization, which is done using const buffer equal to new shared buffer 2048. This shared buffer of 2048 bytes is created and a uint8 array views as ta is initialized to interact with that buffer. Now we are setting and getting the values. The first element of the array is initially 0 and then it is set to 5. Okay, the first is 0, then it is set to 5. Now we are continuing with atomic operations. So we addition adds 12 to the value at index, which is 0, and returns the value of previous value. So the previous value is 5. Okay. Now time to load. Load the correct value at index 0, which is now 17, because previously it was 5 and after adding 12 it becomes 17. Okay. Bitwise AND. 0 and 1 performs a bitwise AND with 1 resulting in 1. Okay. Bitwise and and means both of them must be true in order to get a true value. Okay, so we are performing and with 1 at the index value of 0. Here we are still performing adds 12 to the index value 0. Okay, and so still it is going to be an index. Okay, what if I can do some calculation magic here? I think I should use the print screen. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that. Okay, so I what should I use? I should use meta shift and let me close this, meta shift and print. And yes, now I can do some screen annotations. And where is the option of to annotate? And here is. So we are, if we are doing bitwise annotation with is item at 0 index, this is 0 index, so the bitwise operation which should be 17. So we first have to write this 17 in binary. And how we can write it with in binary? So first we have to write all the numbers that represents binary. So it is 1 2 4 8 16. So 16 can represent 17. So 1 2 3 4 5. So the binary digit would be of 5 digits, yeah, 5 characters long. And if this represents 16 and if we add 1 to that, that represents 17. So we will, what we'll do is fill the remaining spaces with zeros, and now this becomes the 17 in binary. Okay, now after that what we can do is uh, do an AND operation with 1. So 1 is 1, and everything, in order to fill the blank we have to load everything else with the zeros. After that, because both are true, hence we get 1, and for false we are getting false, and here only one value is true, hence, and this is an AND operation, so what we get is answer as 1, which we see as answer. Good, I think you guys get it. Okay, and how can I undo or delete this? I think escape is the key. Good. Next, we are doing the exchange operation to replace the value at index 0 with 12 and return the old value, that is 1, because we have just updated the value of 1 here. Okay, now we have to compare exchange, where we attempts to replace 12 with 5, but since the value is 12 it doesn't change, it returns the old value 1. Attempts to replace 12 with 5. Okay, it first checks whether at index 0 it is 5 or 12. If it 5, it must have been replaced with 12, my guess. Now time to lock free check. Checks if operations are int 8 and int 16 are lock free, returning true. I don't know what does the lock free means. And now let's move to another thing, more atomic, a bitwise OR operation. Okay, so here we already has 0 as in the last update. What was the 0? Attempt to, but since the value it doesn't, it returns the old value 1. So we still have the old value 1, and we are doing an OR operation with 1. Okay, and the index 0 we got the value 1. Let's see if it actually the case. So we have to see. So we have 1 here, and we are doing an OR operation with 1 as well. I'm still not getting it. Or if both are true, then what it will return? How we are getting 13? OR operation. So any one of should be. Let's ask chat GPT, because I'm not able to still get it. How this get this will get us 13, because this is not an because it always returns the previous value. Okay, so here we have 12 here. Let me draw it first again. So here we have 12 here. So if I again write 12 in binary, how can I represent it? The largest number is 8. So at the place of 8, we got a 1. And then 8 plus 4 and 2 and 0. So this is the 12 in binary. Okay. And after that, if I want to do an OR operation with 1, so this represents 1 here. Okay, and if I get 1 at either of these place, we will get 1 here. So there is no 1, and if there is a 1 at this place, hence we got 1. We got 1, and ideally this becomes 13 at this position. Great. I just want to make sure that my annotations are visible to you, because it may be pack something of a screen compositor. So let me check it. Yes, my annotations are visible in OBS Studio as well. So I think I don't require this Grompit MPX program anymore. But let's keep it for the sake of redundancy in application, and let's continue to our next thing. Next is store. Atomics.store t at 0 index. We want 12. It stores 12 at index 0. So we are again updating the previous updated 13 as 12 by using the method store. Now we have this subtraction method, which subtracts 2 resulting in 0. So we are not doing an bitwise operation here. We are using simple arithmetic. Time to do some SHOR operations. We have 0 and 1 here, and we are getting output as 10. Okay. XOR basically means negative OR. Okay. So we just have to flip the bits. So I think right now, as it is outputting the previous value, so here we have 0 as previous value. If I bring my annotation tool again and begin with pen. So this is 10. How can I represent 10 in binary? We can use 8 and 2. We have 1 at one place, we have 0, and at 4 place we have 0. Okay, let me separate it so everything looks much cleaner. Hashtag OCD. Next is what we are doing is we are doing performing a bitwise operation, bitwise XOR operation with 1. So as representing 1 in binary, we get this. Okay. Now, if it is a normal OR operation, what we should have done, we were done, because one of them is 1, hence we are getting 1, we are getting 1, we are getting nothing, and we are getting 1. But because it has x in it, so we will negate all the values, so 0 becomes 1 and everything else becomes 0. So in binary, this represents 1, this represents 2, this represents 4, and this represents what? This represents 8. So we are getting 4. It should be 4, but as I can see here, this is 11. Why? Is there any flaw in my concept? Let's see. First, remove this and start with XOR. XOR. What we have just done? XOR 10 plus 1. XOR 10 plus 1. XOR calculator online. Okay. We are inputting the base 2, 10, 1, and let's calculate the XOR. Output in base 2. Calculate XOR again. We are getting 11. Okay. Once again, let's use the base 10 normal decimal notation, and let's use the normal decimal notation, and let's get, we are still getting output 11. But how? If I represent is as base 10, so 8 can 10 can be represented as 8100, 1010. Okay, and 1 can be represented as, and if I do the XOR this way, we are getting 1011. Okay, so there is some flaw in my concept. So how does the XOR works? Represent how XOR works by adding, by performing operation in this 0b for binary, and 1010 and 0b in binary 0001. Align the bit. Okay, perform the XOR operation. 1 and 0 equal to 1, 0 and 0 equal to 0, and 0 0. Okay, the result is 0 1. Okay, which is 11 in decimal. Different from OR. Let's see. performing or on 0 1, and we are still getting or. uh, XOR returns 1 if the bits are different. Okay. Returns 0 if the bits are same. Okay. Life opening lesson. I mean, eye opening lesson. Okay. Okay. XOR returns 0 if the bits are same, and OR returns 0 only if both bits are 0. Okay, it doesn't matter that whether the both bits are 0 or both bits are 1. In XOR, if both bits are 1, it will output still as false. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's move forward with the page. And the page hasn't finished also. Let's play a quiz in this, which I already know that I'm gonna fail miserably. Stay log out. I'm sorry. I'm not using you this time because I've already learned for my better, for my audience, using this with the same prompt is far better because they can also participate with me on this quiz. So the first question is primary purpose of atomic object. I also want to know exactly this. To perform arithmetic operation large number, to manage control concurrent access to shared memory. I think I have heard this word shared memory. So I'm going with this B. Let's see. Correct. The primary purpose of atomic object in JavaScript is to manage and control concurrent access to shared memory. Next, atomics can be used to perform atomic operations on typed array in JavaScript. I think it's true. True. Atomics can be used to perform atomic operations on typed array in JavaScript. But what is typed array? We will ask it. Let's open a new tab in with ChatGPT in it, and let ask it what is typed array in JS. And let's continue our next question. Name one method provided by atomics object and briefly describe what it does. Atomics. I'm going to describe my favorite method, XOR, that I've just learnt. Does the XOR operation at an index with the provided param. Param stands for parameter in short. Next is multiple choice question. Which of the following is valid method of atomic object? Add, multiply, divide and subtract. A would be answer. Correct. Atomics.at is a valid method for atomic object and it specifies value at given index in typed array. Let's see everything okay with our mic. Yes. Time to move to what is typed array. Typed array in JavaScript are a way to work with binary data directly in array-like structure. They provide a mechanism for reading and writing binary data in efficient manner. This is especially when dealing with a large amount of data such as image or audio and when the performance is critical. So we have array-like object. Typed array are similar to regular array but have a fixed size and type. Each element is typed array, same type. For example, int 8, float 32, etc. JavaScript provides several types of typed array: int 8 array, uint 8 array, uint 16 array, float 32 array, and more. Okay, next is binary data. Typed array are often used in conjunction with array buffer, which is generic fixed length binary data buffer. Typed array act as views on this buffer. Performance: they offer better performance for numeric computation compared to regular JavaScript array, as they are also optimized for handling binary data. Here's simple example of how to use a type array. Now we have to assign a variable to create a array buffer of 16 byte. We have to pass the value as a parameter. Now in order to create a int 32-bit array, we would pass a int 32 array with array buffer as a parameter. Now we want to set its value. Okay. Okay. This is a single bit. Okay. Use cases: we can use this for graphics programming, audio processing, file handling, etc. So it's a very powerful thing. Uh, Actually, this is exact the way how I think that the languages like C and C++ or C sharp works. Exactly by specifying the memory, or is this the method of using JavaScript as a kind of low level programming? Maybe. I'm not the expert here. Let's see. Atomic methods are blocking operations, meaning they can prevent other threads from executing while the operation is incomplete. I think this is false. It actually allows multi-threading. That's right. Atomic methods are designed to work with shared memory and allow multi-threading without blocking other threads. Thank you. What's the purpose of atomic.wait? Proactively block other thread from running. Let's see. Close. The atomic method is used to block the current thread until the specified value at given type of ingress changes. It's used for synchronization between thread, allowing a thread to wait for a condition to be met without consuming CPU resources. I think this point should be added to my notes. Okay, next is, what is the required for atomics method to work? A standard array, a typed array, a regular object, or a string? B should be the answer. Next, atomic method can only be used in main thread of a JavaScript application. False. Atomic methods can be used in both main thread and worker thread, facilitating communication and synchronization between them. Should I add this? No, ran though. Just keep it as it is. What happens if you try to use an atomic method on an index that is out of bound of typed array? It will throw an error, most probably. Correct. Using atomic method out of bounds index will throw a range error. Now, which of the following operations cannot be performed using atomics? I can compare, I can do bitwise, I can load a value, but I still don't think that we can do a division. So our answer would be C. Let's see. Division cannot be performed using atomics. Atomics provides method for operations like comparison, compare and swap, bitwise operations, loading values, but for not for division. And I think we have finished with quiz. Let's move to and close this chapter and move to next web page. I Bigint. The Bigint is built-in object that represents the whole number larger than this. True. To the power of 53 minus 1. A Bigint value, also known as Bigint primitive, is created by appending n to a literal integer by calling the Bigint function with an integer or a string value as its parameter. It allows precise arithmetic with integers beyond the safe integer limit of regular number. In this example, we create Bigint number in decimal, hexadecimal, binary formats and then print each using console.log. Okay. Okay. Creating Bigint by appending an n. As you already seen that the link to the article was already read because everything seems that I've already read this. So I'm very much surfing through it by skimming. Next, this is a sort method to work when both normal number and Bigint's value are present in array. Okay. Okay. I think I already added these things in our uh, let's search for it. Crypto operations supported in Bigint are not constant time. Bigint is therefore unsuitable for use in cryptography. Okay, it is recommended. Okay, so here the things are different. I just pre-assumed everything by just reading the cryptography thing, but that's not the case. It also explaining us that coercion between number and Bigint can lead to loss of precision because so it is recommended to use only Bigint when values greater than 253 are reasonably expected and not to coerce between two types. I think the author must have wanted to write 253 2 to the power of 53. I think. Limitations. Some operators do not support mixed type. Both operands must be the Bigints and neither. Be cautious when coursing between Bigint and precision may be lost. Unsigned right shift is not supported for Bigint. Time to quiz it. Quiz kiya re. Let's do quiz. I am very sorry for all the noises around me. That's a whole different story. Let's get started on your quiz on JavaScript Bigint. What is the primary purpose of Bigint data type in to represent large integers? The answer would be B without wasting any time. Bigint is used to represent large integers that exceeds the limit of a standard number type in JavaScript. Okay. Bigint values can be created by appending n to the end of integer literal. Yes, it's true. I don't know, guys, but I am always reminded of the word third when I'm writing true. You can create Bigint by appending n to a literal integer 1 to 3n. And what is the difference between a number and a Bigint in terms of precision and range? Literal, literal, are or have a precision of 64-bit, while big int have of 2 to the power of 53. I guess. -1. Close. The standard number type is double precision 64-bit format, which can safely represent 2 to 553 minus 1 and 2 to minus negative 2 to 53 plus 1 for negative number. Can represents with an arbitrary position, precision, meaning it can handle values larger than 253 minus 1 without losing accuracy. Which of the following operation? One thing also popped in my mind, so let me clear with ChatGPT as well. Uh, can big int be negative? Yes, big int can be negative. Big int is a built-in object provided with the and you can negative big int. Okay, but just by putting a negative number. Okay, which of the following operation can you perform with big int? Addition, subtraction, division, all of the above. I think D, all of the above. Next, big int can be mixed with regular number without any issues. So I would answer most of the time, but sometime it will lead to error and loss of precision. Next, some short answer. How do you convert a number to a big int in JavaScript? Number to a big int. Okay, by appending an n at last. Not quite. That's how you create a big int. To convert a number to a big int, you can use the big int function. Okay. Which of the following is a valid way to create a big int? Big int 123, big int 123 and new big int 123, both A and B. I think both A and B. So I'm going with D on this one. Okay, now begin support all same mathematical operations as numbers, including floating point division. I think it's true. Actually, this statement is false. Why? Because many arithmetic does not support floating point division. The division of begins result in truncated integer. That is, it will drop the decimal part. I think I should add this point to my notes. Let's add it. Next, what will be the result of the following operation? 5n plus 2, 7n, I guess. As JavaScript automatically converts the regular number to an big int. Okay, so the question is done on this one, not on this guy. Next, which of the following is not a reason to use big int? To work with extremely large integer, to handle precise financial, to store boolean value, to avoid precision loss. I think C. For boolean, I think we already use the bool, not this big int. Now, time to move to next chapter. But before moving to next chapter, I'm gonna recommend you all guys to hydrate yourself first. So while I'm hydrating myself, you guys can do too. Time to learn about JavaScript promise. And thank you for scaring me from the first line, Mr. Geek for Geek. JavaScript promises might sound a bit complicated at first, but once you get a clear understanding of them, they make working with code that takes time to complete, like fetching data from a website or waiting for a timer, much easier to manage. Let's break down what promises are and how you can use them. It felt jarring at first to me, but now it actually look promising. No pun intended. Let's begin with wholehearted in it. What is a promise? A promise in JavaScript is like a container for a future value. It is a way of saying, I don't have this value right now, but I will have it later. Okay. Imagine you order a book online, so you don't get the book right away. But the store promises to send it to you. While you wait, you can do another things. For example, shop for some food, groceries, etc. When the book arrives, you can read it. In the same way, a promise lets you to keep working with your code while waiting someone something else to fix. Actually, this line, uh, reminds me of the song named Time by the same band, Pink Floyd. And it's a must listen if you are at my age, somewhere something around in your 20s, and if you already feel that you've wasted very much of time on your life by doing nonsense stuff, it's a great listen. It will just travels to transport to you, or what to say, mm, teleports you to the deep hell well of misery. At least for once. I actually love that song. Next, like loading data from a server. When the data is ready, the promise will deliver it. Okay. How does a promise work? A promise can be one of three states: pending, fulfilled, rejected. Okay. The promise is waiting for something to finish. For example, waiting for data to load, hence, we call it pending. Fulfilled, the promise that has been completed successfully, the data you are kept waiting for is now available. And if the promise has failed, maybe there was a problem like the server not responding, then the promise it is in rejected state. So when you create a promise, you write some code that will eventually tell you that the promise, whether it was successful, fulfilled, or rejected. If you want to master asynchronous JavaScript, including promises, check out JavaScript course. Okay. So unintended advertisement. I can do at least that for the Geeks for Geek. So everyone who are interested, they can opt for Geek courses because I haven't opted it. So if you have already opted, please tell me the review. Should I even bought it or not? Let's continue. Syntax. Let promise is equal to new promise. Promise is a function that has two parameter: resolve or reject. And after we gonna pass the actual stuff we that we want to do something. Okay. The promise constructor takes only one argument, which is a callback function. The callback function takes two argument: resolve or reject. Perform operation inside the callback function. If everything went well, then call resolve. If desired operation do not go well, then call reject. Now we are going to create a promise, and I'm very sure that this stuff is very important, especially in case of backend programming or front end programming or partially the full stack programming. Because when we were developing web apps, The promise, the asynchronous JavaScript helps as much as the vanilla, not the normal JavaScript of just basic scripting. So it goes beyond that. So let's study with our full concentration. Let my promise equal to new promise function resolve reject, and let success equal to true. Change this to false to check error. If success, resolve, the data has loaded successfully, else reject, there was an error loading the data. Okay. Some code that take time like loading data. Let's success change this to false to check error. Okay. If everything is true, then the resolution is loaded, and if everything is false, then the rejection would be loaded. Okay, using a promise. Once you have a promise, you can use it to do something. When it's fulfilled or rejected, you can do this using two methods, then and catch. This runs if the promise is fulfilled. Console.log message. This runs if the promise is rejected with catch block function. Okay, the then method is called when the promise is fulfilled. It then takes a function and as an argument which will run when the promise is successful. While in second box or the second scenario, the catch method is called when the promise is rejected, also takes a function which we will run, and if there's an error, so if the promise is successful, you will see the data loaded successfully, and I will go after it using ChatGPT with a real life example. I think we got one. Promise function resolve reject const x equal to gig for gig const y. If x is strictly equal to y, resolve, else reject. So these two are also some function, I think. Promise dot then console dot log success your gig console and catch console dot log some error has occurred. Okay. Promise consumers, promise then method. The promise method is invoked when a promise is either resolved or rejected. It also may be defined as carrier that takes data from promise and further execute it successfully. Parameters. It takes two functions as parameter. The first function is executed if the promise is resolved and a result is received. The second function is executed if the promise is rejected and the error is received. It is optional and there is a better way to handle error using dot catch method. Okay. Okay. Then and catch. This example shows how then method handles when a promise is resolved. Okay. Okay. This example shows the condition when a rejected promise is handled by second function. Okay. Okay. Promise.catch method is invoked when a promise is either rejected or some error has occurred in the execution. It is used as an error handler whenever any steps is chance of getting an error. So parameter, it takes one function as parameter. Dot catch function error handle error. Okay. Dot then dot catch. So rather than writing the second function in while, now we are using a catch keyword, I guess. Why use promises? Before promises, handling code that took time to complete, like loading data, was more difficult. You have to use something called callbacks, which could get messy and hard to follow, especially when you had to do several things in a row. Promises make this easier by providing a clear way to work with a synchronous code that doesn't run the right away. They help you write code that is easier to read and maintain. Chaining promise. Sometimes you need to do several things one after another. For example, loading some data and processing it, then displaying it. With promises, you can display chaining then method. Okay, this, then this. Okay. In this example, the first, then the data and passes to process data. Okay. Then process data, process data, process data. Okay. Suppose this is another function that returns a promise. Okay. First, let's visit the and give me a real life example for J's promise. Let's see what we got here. A real life example of JavaScript promise can be like to ordering food at restaurant. Ordering food, you place an order. Now this is promise states. Sorry, for Bob. Next function order food, return new promise, resolve reject, const food ready equal to mat.random and which is greater than 0% to. Okay, 80% chance of food is ready. Set timeout. If food is ready, resolve your food is ready. Else reject sorry we ran out of the dish. Simulate 2 seconds for food preparation. So we are run this function after 2 seconds. Okay. Now after closing this parenthesis will end set timeout function. So this is the set timeout function and this will end this new promise. Okay, order food which is itself a promise. Then console.log message if fulfilled, and if error occurred we are getting console.log if rejected. Okay, so are we getting as error message? Yes, in the example, the promise is rejected, which happens if the kitchens run out of. You will get the message, sorry, we ran out of dish as an error message. Uh, because if food is ready, if it is true, then the message is your food is ready. And if the food is false, then we are getting reject. This parameter is reject and will automatically pass to the then and catch block. I think it means that reject parameter automatically get passed to the second function or dot catch block of the code. Yes, when you call the reject message, sorry, we ran out, that message automatically passed to the catch block. Okay. then and catch. Good. Now I learned a slightly great deal of promise, and as like any other language, it automatically gets better when we actually do some useful stuff using this. But right now we are just learning it, and may God give us that time that we can use this knowledge to work. We will certainly make various project with you. Most of time we are just copying and understanding the others project, so that's a whole other story. Next, let's get started with some question about JavaScript promises. What is JavaScript promise? A way to handle asynchronous operation, a type of function, a data structure, or a method to get way to handle asynchronous operation. A. Next, true or false, a promise can be three states. True. Welcome, my son. Welcome to machine. What methods would you use to handle the successful resolution of promise? Successful dot catch, resolve and reject. Close. The method to handle the successful resolution is then and catch method. Okay. Which of the following method is used multiple promises concurrently? Hmm. And doesn't it feel out of syllabus? Method to execute multiple promises concurrently. Feels like out of syllabus to me. You tell me. You tell me. Promise.all. This method has to execute all the multiple promises concurrently and waiting for them to either fulfill or reject. Let's see how to actually use promise.all. Let's say you have three asynchronous tasks, such as fetching data from different API. Okay. Data from API 1, data from API 2, and data from API 3 using promise.all. Promise.all, we are passing an array for the function of three different APIs, and then we are passing all data fetched. One of the promises failed. Okay. Okay. Time to move to or continue to quiz. A promise can be only resolved once. I think yes. Mm, Even if we are passing callback. Let's see. A promise can only be resolved or rejected once. After that, it cannot change states. If a promise is resolved, it won't respond to further calls to resolve or reject. Finally method. I think I haven't learned this finally block in this promises section, but I know what the finally block does. It runs the code inside regardless of promise state. Yes, I do recall where I learnt about the finally block. If else and finally. even if the code inside if block works, whether the code failed and else block works, and if both fails or any of them work, the finally state will definitely run. Next, which of the following is not a state of a promise? Pending, fulfilled, rejected, completed. D. Next, three states are pending, fulfilled, rejected. The promises can be changed to handle multiple. Yes. Yes. By using dot all method. Okay. Sync sequentially or and concurrently. Okay. Difference between running promises sequentially and concurrently. Difference between running promises sequentially and concurrently is lies in how when the say, asynchronous tasks are executed. In concurrent execution, multiple promises are started at the same time and they run independently. This approach allows the task to overlap, which can lead to faster overall execution, specifically or especially if the tasks are input output bound, like network request. Promise.all run promise concurrently. Okay. And sequential execution, each promise starts only after the previous promise has been resolved. This approach can be simpler in case where the tasks depend on each other to be processed or and in a specific order, but it can be slower since the tasks do not overlap. By using sync await to run promises sequentially. Okay, async this function await, await, await. Good. Next, what happens if a promise is rejected and there is no dot catch method to handle rejection? If there is no dot catch method to handle rejection, led to error or non graceful exit, unhandled promise rejection, which may lead to non graceful exit in your application. Promise dot resolve method do. It creates new promise that is resolved within given value. It rejects a promise. It converts a callback function into a promise. It runs multiple promises in parallel. I think it has to do something with C. Let's see. The correct answer is actually it creates a new promise that is resolved within a given value. While there are methods to convert callback function into promises, promise.resolve creates a promise that is already resolved. Okay. And question 11. A promise can only return a single value. Yes. But API can return anything, but it's still a single value because everything in API is bundled. So we can still say that only one object is returned. Next is short answer. What is the purpose of promise.reject method? So I am copying with it creates a new promise that is it takes it creates a new promise that is rejected in the due time. And time to finish our promise section and move to next chapter, proxy. But before continuing, I'm going to remind you guys again to hydrate yourself once again. And we right now we are at 110. So I think after learning the proxy, now I can safely pause the video for the day, and we will continue it next day, another day. So let's hydrate yourself. Hydrate yourself, guys. Continuing our session to JavaScript proxy. JavaScript proxy slash handler forward slash proxy over handler proxy slash handler. Okay. So JavaScript proxy is an object which intercepts another object and resists the fundamental operations on it. This object is mostly used when we want to hide information about one object from unauthorized access. A proxy consists of two parts, which are its target and handler. The target is a JavaScript object on which proxy is applied, and the handler object contains the function to intercept any operations on it. Syntax: const prox is equal to new proxy tar I'm very sorry, comma handle. Parameters: this object accepts two parameters. Tar, it is object on which the proxy is to be applied, and handle, it is the object in which intercept condition is defined. So here is the method that applies a proxy object with an empty handler. Okay, let details equal to an object which has the name as Raj, course as DSA. So now const proxy is equal to new proxy with two parameters. The tar parameter is details, and what was the another, handle, and we are handling it as an object. So we are prox.name Raj, prox.course DSA. So what it actually did, and just like the normal proxy, it just changed the name of an variable. So we could get the same details by using details.name and details.course. Let me run it in order to assure myself in our test.01js file. Remove the search bar and copy this line and paste it. And this time we are going with the details and details and name, and let's see whether we are getting the same or not. Raj TSA, Raj TSA. So I was right, but now we can proxify this detailed thing. So by proxifying, I mean that we can hide the name of the variable details, and we can use another proxy for that. Here's the method applies a handler function to intercept calls on target object. So we can pass the function return unauthorized. Okay, so in this scenario we are handling as everything as it is, and now we can pass a function get function, and the function is return unauthorized a string hash. Suppose we want to uh, prevent the data leak. So if I still run the same, we are getting a hash value for everything that we are proxying on. And if we console log the original value, we are getting the Rajan TSA. So basically it conceals the data, just like applying a blur over some face. And never mind. Here are the method trap calls on target object based on the condition. Okay. So now we can pass these some parameters as function. We can now pass some parameters in the function. We can pass the tar and prop. Okay. And passing an if else statement. If prop loosely equals to Raj. Okay, prop, and the prop is property, and this property is equal to loosely equal to name. We can return hash, and let's run it again, and hash. So we are masking if the name is if name is asked, then return hash, and for anything else we can just pass the undefined. So what if I write else statement? Can we else return else Verma? Let's see. No, we are not. What could be the error in my side, in my code? Let's see. Correct it over using ChatGPT. Your code is a proxy to intercept the small get handler prevents returning course property. Okay, the syntax that we used is returns the original property. Okay, 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 okay. Let's correct that by ourselves. Return tar. No. Let's run it again. Yes, that's I want. For everything else, I want it to return Verma, and for this particular name, I want to return it as a Harsh, and this is what I achieved. So if I add another property, name, course, and lifestyle, lifestyle, which is good. And if I console.log, let me copy this and paste it, details dot lifestyle, and if I also console.log procs dot lifestyle, and let's see, it should output Verma twice, because for every other parameter it is outputting the Verma instead. And if I wanted to return the original property for the other props, we can pass the tar props. Actually, the tar stands for the original. This is the tar. This details is the tar, and prop stands for its values or it keys. Okay, time to continue to our proxy handling. This example use proxy method to delete proxy. Okay, for prop in target, delete target dot prop concern remove prop. Okay, ghost detail handler remove concern delete pro dot name. Okay, actually I didn't get it. Let ask the chat GPT. How can I use proxy to handle deletion? You can use JavaScript proxy to handle deletion by defining a delete property trap. This allows you to intercept attempt to delete property from target object. That's and here's how you can set up a proxy handler to delete property deletion. Okay, if prop in target, okay, console.log deleting property prop. Delete target prop actually deletes the property from the target. Okay, so we are doing nothing in this line. Actually deletion happens with this keyword delete. And suppose if we want to delete this lifestyle, so if prop is equal to name, if prop is equal to name, then instead of return we can type delete Harsh. Okay, and return something, so we can return true in order to pass it as success. If I run this code again, something should be deleted, I guess. Okay, so the property Raj is deleted from the memory, but here we are still getting Raj in it. So the deletion, so the uh, deletion only happens in proxy, not in the object it actually binds to. Actually, when you delete a property through proxy using the delete property trap, it does delete the property from the target object it binds to. Okay. Okay. If tar in no, if prop in tar target delete Harsh or delete target tar prop return true. Okay, and if I run the code again, now we are getting the deletion of everything. Okay. Now we have course detail, name DSA, time 6 months, status ongoing, a handler function. What does this do? Handler function. Delete property from target prop. If prop in target, if property is in target, delete target with prop. Consider remove this. Defining a new proxy course detail, comma handler, console.log pro.name pro.name. One second. Remove name undefined. Okay. Okay. Pro.name. Actually, I didn't get it. Let's ask the GPT for the code. This is a regular object with three properties. Okay. Proxy handler. This object contains a method delete prop, which is a trap that intercepts the delete operation on proxy. Inside the method, it checks if the prop exists in target object. Target. If it exists, it deletes the property from the target and logs a message indicating that the property was removed. Creating the proxy. Pro. This is a proxy created around the course detail using the handler defined earlier. The proxy will intercept operations such as property access and deletion. How the execution flows? Step 1 is the console.log property.name. This logs the value of name property, which is DSA. Step 2, delete pro.name. This triggers the delete property method in handler. Okay, and inside the method, check if the name. I think I should keep it to the next day because after learning, I think I've gone full screen, because after learning all these things, I feel like I don't possess any more capacity to churn through all these codes. So I need a little bit of rest. So time to pause this stream and let's back. One second. I still have to handle the quiz. So hashtag just do it. Hashtag never settle. Stay log out. Once again, stay logged out and copy this prompt. Move to the extra large chat GPT and now what is a JavaScript proxy? A way to create an object tool to intercept and redefine the fundamental operations. I think B. Next, a JavaScript proxy is a tool to intercept. Okay, a proxy can be used with object, not with functions or array. I guess true. Proxy can be used with function and arrays. An object, it can intercept operations performed by any JavaScript object type. Okay. I think I should also keep this in my notebook. What is the purpose of a handler in JavaScript proxy? To segregate the codes and maintain readability and to perform the object operation. That's a good explanation. The handling is a project that define the behavior of the proxy, including traps and intercept operation. This help to maintain readability and allow customization of how property access and the modifications are handled. Which of the following is common use case for JavaScript proxy? Creating static method, data validation, sanitization, looping through arrays, manage state in React application. I think we can use this in validation and sanitization. Let's see. Correct. One common use case for proxies to data validation and sanitization. Proxy allows you to intercept and validate data before it is set as an object. Next, using a proxy can improve performance in JavaScript application. Yes. Okay, you are giving feedback on a new version of ChatGPT. Not quite. This statement is generally considered false. While proxies can add flexibility and functionality, they can introduce some overhead and potential decrease in performance. I prefer this response. Okay. Question 6. What method will you define a trap for property in to define a trap in property in proxy? I don't know. I think new proxy. The new proxy constructor is used to create a proxy, but to define a trap for property access specifically, you would use the get trap within the handler object. Okay, you can define the behavior for accessing property handler like this. Okay, using get. I think I also need to add this, and as this code is of belongs to JavaScript. Next, which of the following traps is not available in JavaScript proxy? Get set has invoke. I think the answer would be D. Invoke. Invoke is not a trap available in JavaScript proxy. The available traps are get set and has. Proxy can modify the behavior of instance of operator. True. That's correct. Proxy can indeed modify the behavior of instance of operator, and this I think this is the proof of that, allowing you to customize how the operator behaves for instances of proxy. How do you access a property of the target object using proxy? By using what we can say, um, by using dot. Actually, I love the thing that we used to say dot method, and by using dot method and prop method, dot method and prop method. I think that we used to call it. To access a property of target through a proxy, you would typically use the conjunction with get trap to define handler. Get function target prop. Okay. And what does the revoke function do when working with proxy? I don't know, because I've neither heard the invoke or revoke. The current it disables the proxy, making the target object behave like normal object. Okay. I think I should also add this as it as it disables the proxy, making the target object behave like normal object. Okay. So our notes has gone 255 lines longer. Good. So now the time has come to finish our video, and it's already 1:47 a.m. in night or morning. I don't know which way you prefer, but very very thank you for joining me, and thank you for one additional subscriber that I'm seeing on my channel. And if you're watching this video, please comment hi so I can proactively greet you to my channel. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone.